Singer's two-factor theory, James Lange theory, and Cannon-Bart's theory of emotion. These are all important, and you need to know how they build off of each other and how they might be tested. Starting with the James Lange theory. In this example, when we see a bear, this triggers a physiological response. For example, your heart pounding, or you're trembling, or you're sweating. And this type of physiological response then makes our brain and our mind realize that we're experiencing fear. So the physiological response in this theory happens first, and as a result of this physiological response, we experience the emotion fear. As for the Cannon-Bard theory, the thalamus and the cortex in our brain react simultaneously and independently, creating a simultaneous and independent physiological response and emotion. So what do I mean by this? So in the James Lange theory, we had a physiological response occur first as a result of a scary bear or a scary stimulus. And then this caused us to feel this emotion of fear. However, in the Cannon-Bard theory, this emotion of fear and physiological response happens at the same time. So there is a scary bear, and this causes you to feel fear and have a physiological response at the same time, simultaneously. The Cannon-Bard theory is built on the idea that emotions are started in the mind and not in the body. Now, with Singer's two-factor theory, this is just slightly more complex with an extra step. So this theory focuses on the interactions between physical arousal and how we cognitively label that arousal. So for example, you feel a type of arousal, but you need to identify this arousal in order to feel emotion. You need to identify whether this is threatening or non-threatening, if you can relax or not, because just arousal is not enough. We need to understand if this is something that we should fear for or be afraid of or not. So first, we see the stimulus, for example, a bear. Then we need to label the stimulus as threatening, scary, or non-threatening, right? It has to be one or the other. Either we are afraid of it or we're not. So now that we have, quote unquote, in this example, labeled it as threatening, now we feel the emotion and now we are scared. Additionally, with this two-factor theory, we have two factors, and different places will use different names. The first factor is physical and the second is mental. The physical factor, your sympathetic